Hello guys and gals of the internet, I'm Simon Chaos from YouTube and Twitch TV, and welcome to the first channel update in almost a year, January the 1st, 2021. I would say Happy New Year to you all, but it's probably not, is it? I mean, well, I don't know where to start, and there's a lot I probably can't talk about personal wise for various reasons. 2020 was definitely a hard year for everybody, including us. I mean, thankfully, myself and Tom Lady never got ill over the course of last year, and it was kind of like somewhat business usual for us. That's really because we never really go out anywhere. We're not social butterflies, as it were. You know, even when we were living in the previous house, we didn't really go out that much. So for us, we were very fortunate that it ended up kind of being business as usual, and we never really got ill because of it. But having said that, we totally understand that, you know, for other people, it was hugely more difficult, and we get it. You know, and to be honest, since February we had our own negative things to deal with. We won't. I won't mention it in this video because I don't think it's our place to. Because I don't think it's much to do with us. It's obviously something to do with us because we're involved, but it's not something that I should really feel the need to broadcast around the world because. You know, why? You know, this is a gaming channel for one. You know, that's the main thing. This is a gaming channel when that's completely irrelevant. And I could talk for a while about what's going on, but, you know, it's not my place to. So I'm not going to do that out of respect for people that probably don't want it broadcast all over the place. And to be honest, it's not really broadcastable anyway, what's been going on. So I'm not going to mention that, but I suppose the one thing I can say is that rest assured, we are absolutely fine. We haven't been ill, and no matter what really happens from here on out, we will be fine. And I think that's the one positive we can take out of this. 2020 has been hard for everybody. It's just for us, it's been for different reasons. But to be honest, considering what has gone on, it is probably for the best what will happen. Now, obviously, I'm not going to talk about it right now, and I don't think we're going to really talk about it much when we actually get to doing what we have to do. Now, for myself and Tammy, again, we're absolutely fine. You know, we're not sick, we're not ill, or anything like that. Nothing, you know, the mother-in-law isn't ill, her stepdad isn't ill. We're not ill, it's just been some other things outside of the obvious, I should say, that we've had to deal with. But, like I said, it is, everyone's had the same boat, really, with this whole thing. You know, when it started back in March in UK for us, we had to deal with that whole thing. Sports being postponed, us having to stay indoors, and yeah, it has been tough for everybody. 2020 has been a year to forget, really, for a lot of people, for different reasons. Myself and Tom Lady did have the light in 2020. We did have the light moments for us, you know, in personal reasons, mostly involving sport. And the championship winning year for Mick Schumacher in Formula 2 was probably one of our bright spots, really. But that's and I think that's probably where we have to leave it, because there's stuff I can't talk about, and I wouldn't talk about even if I could, out of respect for the situation. So I'm not obviously going to do that. We're going to focus on the channel and the games and what's coming up someday in the future. And I guess when what we think, well, not what we think, but if something changes, if the things that may change in the future, if we reach a point where we can talk about it in some way, we will. We will update you. A couple of people already know what's going on, personal friends of ours, family members. They're already in the know. Close friends, family members, and all that. They're already in the know, and obviously we had to mention that to family members and everything. But in my case, in this video, I'm talking to... I don't want to say thousands of people, because that's not really true. I'm only talking to maybe 232 people that are subscribed to this channel and watching this video right now. It could be less than that. Probably of the 232 subscribers I apparently have, maybe 10 only watch my videos every time a new one comes out. And that's just the way the world is. So, I'm probably going to be talking to 10 people. And I think for the most part, probably about half of those 10 people already know what's going on anyway. And the other half, I'm not saying it's any of your business. But it's really not something I should really be talking about, because we're in this situation, but it's nothing to really do with us either. It's outside of that, it's outside of this whole thing. You get what I'm saying? I'm not speaking down on anybody, or saying people don't have a right to know and things like that. It's personal things that we have to deal with, and maybe we just want to show respect to the situation. And I think another reason is we just don't want to worry you guys, because there's nothing to worry about. We're absolutely fine in that regard. So we're not sick, we're not ill, we're perfectly fine. And if we get to a point where we can talk about what's supposedly been happening in some way, then we will mention it in due course. But apart from that, nothing to worry about. We're absolutely fine. We haven't been ill, fortunately. I know for a lot of people that has been the big worry, and all that. But thankfully, we've been absolutely fine so far, and we hope to have it continue that way. I mean, for us, like I said, it was kind of sort of business as usual, because we stay in a lot anyway, so it was easier, but for someone who's very sociable, it could be difficult, and for kids, and yeah, we don't... Well, I say what I say, it's business as usual, but we also understand that for some people it's sadly not been the case, and in very somber circumstances for a lot of people. We don't discount that. So for some it's been hard. I hope it gets better. If you are unfortunately not very well, you do have our best wishes always. We do care about you guys that are going through rough times right now. We care, and we hope that you'll be alright in the end. I wish there was more we could do. Generally, I wish there was always something more we could do. I've always been the kind of guy that wants to do something to help out. I've always been like that. So when I say what I say, don't take it as an insult. We do care, but we're just... It really has been just business as usual for us in a way. Obviously, a lot of things have still changed, believe it or not. A lot of things have changed for us. We say that, but in a way, it's like that. But things have changed for us as well. So we've all felt last year. We really have. Now, just as a side note, before we get into this, you will see my desktop in a moment, and you will see that this video has been recorded on the 30th. I am recording this before New Year's Day, but New Year's Day is when it will come out. And I would say this update is going to be very familiar to last year's update that I did in February. We're going to be covering a lot of the games and what's been happening throughout the year on the channel for the most part. now that we've got the kind of personal stuff out of the way, we can really focus on the channel and the things that will be coming in the future. And again, like last year, I'm not going to give any timestamps for anything because, as you probably know, I have not really covered a lot of what I said last year. We did a bit, we did a bit, say, from the start of March, and I came up with the idea that I wanted to redo some older playthroughs and bring them to the ways I do them now, say with the 30-minute time limit, for example. We did do some of that. Resident Evil 1, we did the Jill playthrough. Resident Evil 4, we did the main campaign playthrough. And what else did we do? We did something after that. Resident Evil Revelations 2. It was mostly Resident Evil games, and then there was going to be another one that I decided to hold off once a very significant piece of equipment actually was announced and came out earlier, like late last year. And we'll talk about that later. So, like in last year's update, now we've got that out of the way, we're going to go into my launchers and we're going to bring you up to speed on what has been the situation with all of these. Now, there was something I was going to say and I completely forgot, but alright, so yeah, we are going to covering a lot of previous ground, but I'm going to bring you up to date on what's been going on for the stuff that we have for those scenarios. So, I think we will start with BattleNet, because BattleNet is where we should really start because of what's going to be coming following this video tomorrow. Well, tomorrow for you guys, it'll be a few days for me, as you can see probably by my timer here. It's the 30th as I'm recording this, but on the 2nd of January, I will start uploading the second session of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War multiplayer gameplay, which was on the launch of Season 1's Battle Pass and the changes to Warzone and all that kind of stuff. Now, the reason why doing this first is because Black Ops is a very, very unusual situation, because very much like last year, as I said at the beginning of the first session of multiplayer gameplay, I'm not doing the campaign first. I haven't even got it installed right now, because on the PC version of Call of Duty in particular, you can choose what you download to your hard drive. So basically I have the multiplayer and zombies right now, and I will download the campaign later. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because I'm not doing the campaign yet, and the reason for that is because from what I can work out in the timeline of the Black Ops franchise from Treyarch, Cold War follows on from the first Black Ops game. So, I'm going to do what I did with, let's say, Life is Strange. Life is Strange would be the most example, where during Project PC, when that initially started out back in 2018, I think it was. No, it was 2019, my apologies. No, it wasn't. It was definitely 2018. I don't even remember anymore. Shit, I'm getting old. But my memory is getting to shit right now. But yeah, Life is Strange. What we did when Project PC was going on and it actually started, I decided to do Life is Strange in timeline order. So I basically went with Farewell first, Life is Strange Before the Storm followed that, the main story, and then we went into Life is Strange 1, and then we later, at some point last year, went into Life is Strange 2. I think we did that in the summer last year. This is what I'm going to be doing with the Black Ops franchise. I'm going to be doing the same thing. So I'm going to be playing Black Ops 1's campaign first, and then doing Cold War, and then Black Ops 2, and then Black Ops 3. Because I think that's the timeline of the games. Like, Black Ops 2 does go back in time, and I think Cold War does as well. But traditionally, in the actual timeline of the series, it's 1, Cold War, 2, 3, and then, well, not 4 because that didn't have a story. So that's why I'm mentioning Cold War and we're going into Battle.net first, because that's the way it's going to work. Now, I don't have Black Ops 1 as of yet, because, to be honest, I don't want to end up paying more than maybe a tenner for it, considering I'm only going to be playing the campaign. Now, would I feature the multiplayer? Maybe, but the game is years old. I think the Call of Duty player bases do last longer on the PC versions, I believe. I could be wrong about that. But, yeah. We'll see on that one. But I don't want to pay any more than, say, £10 for it, considering I'm only going to be playing it for the campaign and then never really touching it again afterwards. So I'm not going to rush to do that. Excuse me. I've already done 2 sessions of multiplayer on Cold War anyway, so that's more than enough for now. I'm obviously going to go back into it again. A couple of things we should mention here. Warzone in particular. Now, Warzone really put a lot of stuff on the backlog back in November. Because back in November, Season 6 of Call of Duty Modern Warfare at the time was ending. I think it had even been extended for a couple of weeks. So what I actually decided to do, because I had not completed any of the previous seasons of Call of Duty Modern Warfare Battle Passes in the previous seasons, I actually decided I was going to do one. In Season 6, I think I got to about level 80, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to make one last push and get to level 100. And what ended up happening was, for about 2 weeks straight, I ended up streaming some Warzone. And I actually really enjoyed it. And I think the bug really hit me when I finished second twice in not consecutive but very close together. I got 2 second places in one night at one point on solos, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get this solo win. And I actually did, and it was immense. It was like the best thing ever, because now I'd won in all forms of Warzone, and I was pretty happy with myself. But I decided after that I was going to make the push towards level 100, and then when I got there, I was like, you know what? They've extended Season 6 a little bit longer, so I'm going to make a push for 155 and fully complete Season 6, and I did. That took the whole month of November, and I released a kill montage that was used through the Athenoscope feature, which I also have on my desktop right here. Athenoscope is basically it is an AI, I believe, or something like that. Someone obviously works on it, but you know what I mean. Is it called a software? Yeah, it's something like that. It's something you can activate whilst playing certain games. I think the games are Modern Warfare, Cold War, Rainbow Six Siege, Fall Guys, Fortnite, what was that other game? Valorant, Rogue Company, and there was another game which I completely forget. I think it was Apex Legends? Yeah, you get the feeling. Some games on there, grab your entire stream. You can either do it 2 ways. You can use it using the desktop feature that I have, just in case I don't manage to stream or whatever reason. But what I was doing was actually streaming it and having it pick up the highlights in the background. So at the end of every stream, Athenoscope would gather my whole stream, generate the highlights through that, and then give me a couple of videos of highlights of all the kills I earned on the stream. And that was basically what Athenoscope was. I grabbed all of those specific kills that I earned during the month, and I released it as a montage on the 1st of December 2019. 2019, fuck's sake, 2020. I'm already getting the year wrong. But yeah, and that was really fun to make. That was actually really fun to put together and make, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know whether I'll be doing any more in the future. I am planning to, but for the most part, I streamed it. I didn't record it. So that meant like, you guys would miss it on YouTube if you weren't part of the stream, so that's why I did it for. For Cold War, I would have done it, but obviously the footage was already there from the 2 sets I've recorded so far. I mean, I've already put up one, but I'm going to be starting putting up the second set tomorrow. So for times I don't record, maybe I'll make some more. But obviously, Athenoscope is only for certain games right now, but all the games I can play in some capacity, so I might try it out on all the other games. We might just have a couple of days, like a few days of a streaming. Maybe I should take a week to stream the various different games and see what highlights it gets me. That'd be pretty cool on certain games. But with games like Rainbow Six Siege and Apex Legends, I'm rubbish at them. So that might actually be fun. But also, Athenoscope makes weekly showcase videos, and I have 4 or 5 at the moment. So that's pretty cool. I would give you a link, but I don't think you can have friends and things on it. So I don't know whether I should do that, because I don't think they have a friend feature, unfortunately. I really should join their Discord server. I've just remembered they have one, and I haven't talked about it. So I haven't gone there yet, so I should probably do that. But yeah, that was really fun to make. I really enjoyed it. I've really actually enjoyed Warzone as well, weirdly enough. Now, I will say this now. There has been some leaks of... actually, there wasn't really so much of a leak. There was a massive reveal around the end of Season 6 and the beginning of Season 1 of Cold War, which also integrated into Warzone with the Black Ops weapons and everything that was going on. There was a week of intel that released, and I actually picked this up at the end of the week, so I was able to get it in one session. I got all the pieces of intel, and there was this cutscene, and it was pretty cool because it referenced the original Modern Warfare trilogy quite a lot in it, like with the Zakhaev. And then the most awesome thing almost at the end of the trailer happened when a familiar voice came over the radio. The voice of Soap McTavish, one of my favourite characters in the whole in Call of Duty franchise. The guy with the most awesome Scottish accent. And yeah, I've wanted him in Modern Warfare pretty much since day one, and even more since Price and Ghost were operators in the game. You know, you can have Price and Ghost, but not Soap. It just wouldn't make any sense. But I think he has been leaked somewhere, so it's not concrete, it's not 100%. But apparently he will be coming rather soon, I think. I think once the Rebirth event is over, Modern Warfare is going to have its own winter event, and Soap is going to be part of that, I believe, as a what are they called? As an operator pack. So if it's a pack I have to buy, I'm going to buy it because it's Soap. So what I might do is a whole session. I might record a whole session of not only the Warzone but the multiplayer as well. I may do both and call it Soap Madness because, like I said, I'm a big Soap McTavish fan. I might even do 1-for-1 Madness and pick Price for one match and Soap for another, or Price for one video and then Soap for another video and then Ghost for another video. I might do something like that because I'm still enjoying Modern Warfare. I'm really still enjoying it. As for Black Ops, I'll keep it short because I do mention that at the end of the session, the second session. I enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it as much as I did Modern Warfare when the game first came out. There's some things I don't particularly like about Black Ops, in particular the movement. Not a big fan of that. And I think that's pretty much about it, really. I think that's the only thing. Zombies is fun, but I'm really struggling with unlocking Park's Coventry outfit. So if anyone watching this video has Ghost and wants to, Cold War and wants to help me out with that, then greatly appreciated, because I really am struggling to get that outfit, sadly. But Park's Scorch outfit is probably just as cool, so I'll be happy with that until I can unlock it. I'm not going to really rush because I tried for a day and just could not exfil even once, because zombies, when you try to exfil, is incredibly hard. There's like 50 armored zombies that come at you for some reason. Yeah, there's not really much other differences in the Blizzard launcher that I mentioned last year. I'm not sure if I mentioned that I have StarCraft and StarCraft 2. What's this? Here's the Storm, I don't have that. That's free. Overwatch I don't have. Overwatch was a game I wanted and never got. I do have Black Ops 4, but apparently I do have Black Ops 4. I don't really remember playing it, but there you go. I have Black Ops 4 apparently. Now, obviously, this is the big one. The Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign yes, I will be doing it, but I will not be buying it for whatever it is right now, which is 20. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not paying £20 for a campaign. It's just not worth it. It's not worth £20. £10 for a campaign, or £5 maybe, but not 20. Not for a campaign. I said that with Black Ops 1. I'm not paying £20 to just play a campaign. It's just not worth it. And there will be probably plenty more streams and videos coming for these two in the future. In particular, Warzone and Black Ops with multiplayer sessions and sessions of Warzone. Once my friend English Avenger gets back from his time off, we might jump back into it again. Hopefully, if there's the winter event is a way to unlock soap without having to pay for the operator pack, then I'll do that. But if I have, obviously, that'll probably intertwine with the session anyway, because like I said, I might do a one Task Force 141 Madness where I use the Task Force characters, in particular Soap. If he does come out, obviously he's got to come out first. I think it's heavily linked that he will, but you never know. You never know. But I think with Cole, I think they've pretty much confirmed him, especially with the cutscene. If not in Warzone and Modern Warfare, he will probably be in the second Modern Warfare that will probably almost inevitably come out when Infinity Ward has their turn in a couple of years' time, because Modern Warfare sold so successfully in the first place. So that is it for the Blizzard launcher. Alright, so we'll check out my Steam launcher games next. There has been a few changes to the list, and we will go through the wish list again as well. And I will mention one very important thing at the end of this run through. Again, we're going to be covering a lot of old ground that I covered already in the previous channel update, which I'll probably... I'm not going to put a card on the top of the screen, because obviously we're talking about a more updated version of that update. But we will be covering a lot of old ground. So if you do remember what I said in the first update, we will cover it again. Hopefully for me in much smaller chunks, obviously, because I've already covered it before. Now, I believe Alien Isolation was not one of the games I had on my Steam account at that time last year. So this is covering some new ground already. Now, Alien Isolation was a game that I actually wanted to play when it first came out, which was quite a surprise at the time, because I'm a casual Aliens fan. I have watched the first movie, I have watched the second movie, and I adore it, for reasons that you might actually know very quickly if you know me, and the mentioning of Sherry Birkin and Claire Redfield in particular, you might already figure that out, why I love Aliens so much, with Newt and Ripley obviously being a focus of that. But I've had it on good authority that every Aliens movie after that has been garbage, so I've stayed away from them actually. So I only have Alien and Aliens in my head. Now, the one thing that was an outlier to that was Aliens Colonial Marines when that came out in 2012? Was it 2012 or 2011? It was 2013, I believe, because I think it came out the same year as Tomb Raider. It did, actually, it did. And that game was absolute trash, to put it very nicely. Actually, that's putting it very, very mildly, actually, because the game was garbage. But Alien Isolation was actually something I was really interested in, considering that it was going to focus on Ripley's daughter, and because I already had that attachment somewhat to Ripley and Newt and the characters around them in the Aliens movie, I was like, you know what, that sounds cool. You know, it sounds like Ripley's daughter's looking for her mother. That just sounds like really cool. And there was this really menacing one xenomorph, which is basically a retelling of Alien. It's a retelling of the first movie, where the xenomorph is just the all-menacing monster that it is. And I was like, holy shit, that actually sounds great on frickin' paper. And more started coming out about it, and I was actually like, you know what, this game actually might not be garbage. I planned to play through it that year, and never did one. I think I did do some of it, and I think it might even be my camera back then. So that might be why it didn't make the cut, because I think soon after this game came out, I moved to Direct Capture somewhat. I think it was the same year. I think this came out, like, what was it, January, February, March? And then I think in May I moved to Direct Capture 2014, so I think that was why I didn't make the cut in the end. It's always something I always wanted to go back to and never have, and now I have the PC version, so obviously that was the big change last year. I don't think I mentioned this at the time, but obviously during last year that was one of the big changes. I'm actually now using keyboard and mouse to play the majority of games, save for some circumstances like Resident Evil 1, the remake, where I was going to struggle if I was trying to play with keyboard and mouse and tank controls. That would be the only exception. The other exceptions would be, of course, fighting games and racing games, for reasons you could probably work out. It'd be very difficult to control those two types of games on a keyboard and mouse. But for the majority of them, I am going to be using my keyboard and mouse now, which has really opened up a lot more options for me to play should the game not be controller supported. But fortunately, Alien Isolation is, but like I've done with some other games like last year, I will try the keyboard and mouse out first. So that was one big change I actually forgot to mention, but yeah, I thought I'd bring that up. So yeah, Alien Isolation is definitely something I will look into in the future. I always wanted to beat it and experience it. Being a somewhat casual fan of the first two Alien movies and then just ignoring everyone after that. Truth be told, I've just remembered this actually. I did play Alien Trilogy as a kid, and it scared the shit out of me. So, obviously that won't be happening now. I was a little kid back then. But, yeah, I did play that. I don't think I beat it. So, it'd be nice to actually beat an Alien game that isn't complete garbage. But anyway, yeah, Alien Isolation is definitely something I'll look to do. And apparently the reviews in the game is really good. So, thank goodness for that. Alien has been sort of redeemed in the gaming world, it seems. Especially with this game. And hopefully they pick up on it, maybe, somehow. It was quite cool that Sega made it, actually. That was a pretty cool thing I found out. So the Adventures of Captain Spirit is the same scenario, because we will talk about that kind of series a little bit later on, so we don't really need to mention that. Batman, Arkham Asylum, and Arkham City, I basically got the PC to fulfill my collection, and you'll see this a few times with a few series. There's been no real change to Arkham Origins or Arkham Knight. I have sadly not been able to jump into these two and do the playthroughs of the games that I plan to do that. And that's the same with Blair's Blue Crosstown Battle as well. I haven't done the sets I planned for it. To be honest, I don't see myself doing them now, because the game is getting up there in age. I still haven't purchased the version 3 that unlocks Neo from Ruby into the game. And I haven't done my second version of Team Bumblebee Madness either. So, unfortunately, I don't think they'll be happening now, considering the game's age. But I'll keep my eye on it. But I'm not really promising anything from there. And that's the case with all of these. All of these are plans for the future rather than having anything specific release date wise, because when I normally make schedules, I fuck up and don't end up doing them anyway. No real changes to the Borderlands series, still going to be mostly stream exclusive. With myself and Time Lady mostly focusing on the Halo series last year and finishing up the Halo Marathon, most recently with Halo 4 last month. That really took the bulk of our time. We haven't been able to do games like Borderlands and Destiny. And obviously with everything that's been going on, our life has been in limbo, and we've not been able to, we don't want to get so far into something and then something changes and we have to put it off for like another 6 months anyway. It's really up to Time Lady when we do these sorts of things, though. I always leave co-op things up to her. Because it's only right that I do that, considering she has to do the stuff as well. It's not just me. So she's made this kind of routine where she plays on the weekend because of all the television she watches during the day. So she makes it kind of a thing to play on weekends, and most recently we've been actually going through the Halo series for the most of last year. So that's why everything else like Borderlands has been pushed back somewhat. But we still plan to do those. We actually planned maybe on getting Borderlands 3 one day, but I think we're going to probably do these first before we even think about getting that. Probably mostly because of Steam, and when they eventually get it, I think they're getting it sometime this year actually. Brawlhalla, there's no difference to what I said last year. I haven't been able to even install it and play it. I think the still player base is still quite high for it. As you can see, someone's broadcasting it right now. I think there's the developer broadcast going on, so I think the player base is still quite high for that. So there's still a chance that I could jump in and play it. Now, Cricket 19 has a very interesting story because I'm a casual cricket fan. I don't think I'm even a fan of cricket. My granddad is the cricket fan in my family. But myself and Tom Lady always tend to watch the Ashes. It's pretty much like my mom used to do. My mom always used to watch the World Cup. I'm the same with cricket and maybe golf. I only watch Tiger Woods playing in the Masters, the Ashes for cricket. Football and Formula 1 have been my two most prominent sports in my life. Football less so these days than Formula 1, due to things I've explained before. But Cricket 19 was actually downloaded really because over the course of last year I found a guy called Trevor Sports, and I'm going to give a plug to him here because he's awesome. Basically, Trevor Sports is his own version of retro BBC sport coverage. He's basically a runner of his own television channel in a sense, on YouTube. He basically runs his own television channel on it, to a degree. He even has his own little crew of commentators and people that commentate over the matches and stuff for him. It's pretty neat. His idea is very neat. It's my favourite type of video to a T. I love people who do what I do. Sit and record and commentate all at the same time. I've said it before in my FIFA videos, but I love doing that style of video. It's some of my favourite stuff to do, but also my favourite stuff to watch. And Trevor Sports has pretty much been the epitome of it for the last year, considering a lot of sports were on hold until further notice at one point. And, Trevor also did some older stuff back in the day, like his World Cup, and the Ashes was actually one of the series he did. And I was like, you know what? I might actually try doing it myself. Now, I've said this in a video before, but I might not upload due to changes to that kind of thing that I'll mention later. But basically what I said in that video was that I'm a huge Murray Walker fan, and maybe a few football commentators like Barry Davis and John Moxon I could throw in there as well. Maybe Martin Tyler most recently as well. Alex Jakes would actually be the most recent commentator I've actually thoroughly enjoyed listening to. But I'm a huge fan of that kind of person in my life. Murray Walker was the hugest reason I got into Formula 1 in the first place, aside from Michael Schumacher. But Murray Walker was the other one, and I always it gave me a semi passion for it. But it's a passion I probably wouldn't be able to fulfill in real life, unfortunately, for a lot of reasons. But basically, back in FIFA 14, I decided to sit and do my own, and it became the funnest stuff I've ever curated. And I've always wanted to delve into other sports. The problem, because a lot of people would probably ask, why don't you do a lot of sports? Obviously, sports commentary is one of your favourite things to do in virtual commentary terms. You love to do that. Why have you only got one or two predominant sports that you do it for? I do it predominantly with FIFA. I've wanted to be honest. But the real reason I don't is sport knowledge. With golf and cricket and what would another one be? NFL. 3 sports in particular that'd be great for it. It's sport knowledge. I have no knowledge of these sports. I'm a casual fan. NBA as well, casual. So I don't really have a lot of knowledge to bring to the table. Whereas Trevor Sports could probably enchant you in his knowledge and his previous experiences with the game, if he has it. Trevor Sports grew up in the era of retro BBC, so he can bring a lot of experience and a lot of what he does is based on what other commentators have done in real life, and he can bring a lot of that to the table. Whereas I really can't. I'm not really good at it, I guess. It's a passion I love to do, but it's not like I'm really good at it. And when it comes to something like NFL or NBA or cricket, for example, they are three sports I have very small knowledge of. So I can't be very knowledgeable like the Murray Walkers or the Barry Davises, who are very knowledgeable about what they talk about. I'm not really that, you know what I mean? But it's not something I've ever ruled out. You know, there's a sport, the NHL. I think the NHL would be absolutely perfect for my style of virtual commentary, where I like to go nuts. And just go off the cuff and just go completely wild with what's happening on the screen. I remember one time in FIFA 14 when I did that with the Colchester United-Manchester United match in the Carabao Cup. The match was so crazy and I just went off. I just went off and completely nuts, and I just lost it. It was great. And that was actually the shining moment for me, where this was where I sat at the end of the match and I said to myself, I love doing this. And that's why FIFA/PES has been the series I've predominantly mostly done this virtual commentary style in. But I've always wanted to branch out to other sports, but like I said, into sport knowledge. The Ashes is actually another one I'd like to do, and Cricket 19 has the Ashes. And after watching Trev's version of it, I was like, you know what, I should really try this myself. Unfortunately, I never really got to do it, and I spent the first 13 hours of the game I had with the game practicing, because I've barely ever played a cricket game. The most cricket game I'd ever played was Brian Lara Cricket back on the PlayStation. So I do have some experience with cricket games, but I'm not really hugely knowledgeable of the sport. And the Ashes is like the most historic tournament in cricket, and I know the least about it. So sport knowledge is really what holds me back, but games like NFL, NHL in particular would just be crazy. I would just love to do NHL. That is a big thing I'd love to do. And cricket's probably another one as well, because I just love to broaden out into these other sports. NBA, I'd love to do it, but it's mostly sport knowledge, and I'm not as good as someone like Trevor Sports or his pal Chris, for example. They're two really good people in that field. On Trevor Sports. I'll put a link somewhere in this video to his channel, and you should definitely check it out if you're into virtual sports and people commentating over the sports rather like the YouTuber talking over it. And if you're really into that sort of video, Trevor Sports is the man you should do. Obviously there's other people too, like MERSYT13 for you wrestling fans. Trevor Sports is more for football, and maybe a couple others. Chris, which is a pal of Trevor's, he's actually going to be doing NBA, which I can't wait for. I can't wait for him to do NBA. Chris in particular has a very commentator's voice about him. I've heard him on Trevor Sport, and Chris is one of my favourite people on there because he really has a commentator's voice, and he just flows so well with what's going on. So I was like, yeah, this guy is really good. And like I said, it's my favourite stuff to watch and my favourite stuff to do. And I do want to go into other sports. And I think cricket might be the first one I do it on. Because I think with cricket I have a little bit more. Maybe NBA at a push, but the NBA season can be very long. The NFL could be an option, but I don't really have a lot of NFL knowledge. Like, I don't even know all the teams off the top of my head. Whereas with the Premier League, I can name all the teams I want. In the NFL, I can't. I can't name all the NFL teams. I forget most of them. I think I said, I think it was brought up in Life is Strange, where they had not the San Francisco team in real life, obviously without the license, but it was referenced of the San Francisco hockey team, which I can't remember. I think they were the 49ers, or if that was NFL. See what I mean? I don't really know. So yeah, cricket might be the one game where I kind of branch out of football and try to do it. That might be this might be the first step. I would do it with NHL already, but there's no NHL games on PC, so and I will be talking about that kind of thing in a bit. So yeah, sorry for the little kind of information dump there, but might as well get some use out of this video because I don't know if I'm going to do any more in case, well, unless we have to, of course. Dead by Daylight was basically bought because of my friend Clark, who plays Dead by Daylight on a regular basis. He's a huge Life is Strange fan and a huge Pricefield fan, and you guys know why I love him, basically because of those sentences. But Clark is in the process of moving at the moment, so he will be off stream for a while, I think. Dead Rising, Dead Rising 2, Dead Rising 3, and Dead Rising 4 were basically complete the collection after myself and Tom Lady Games played through off the record. Absolutely loved it, despite the rage sections in that playthrough, particularly with the two twins, where I just absolutely lost it at one point because I picked up something I didn't want to do. But that was still really fun to play. That was really fun to go back to. Dead Rising 2 is my favourite in the series, by quite a wide margin, actually. And I will probably do these other ones on PC to gather up achievements. Probably not that piece of garbage, because Dead Rising 4 is a piece of garbage. Plain and simple. Destiny 2 is, we are falling even further behind with Destiny 2. I think we've covered the majority of the game in the first time we played it for the first 5 hours. We played with Cal, and I think he said we covered most of the game. It was like with Destiny 1, I think we both had it on Xbox, and myself and Tom Lady and English Avenger, we all beat it in like a day. At one point, a day or two, a stream or two, so we actually did really well considering. Dirt Showdown was the last situation as last year. Haven't really installed it and tried it out yet, so I can't really give a full on it. Still in limbo with Doom 2016. It's still on my to-do list for over 4 years now, since I initially started the playthrough back in 2016 on the PlayStation 4 version. Dragon Ball FighterZ is still a game I'm going to be going back to in the fighting game side of things, because obviously the game is still being supported. Baby Vegeta, not Baby Vegeta, Super Baby is like the latest character who I have no idea who he is, because as you guys know, I'm a Dragon Ball noob, and know absolutely nothing about the Dragon Ball lore. I only know the Z characters because of this game. The only knowledge I have in Dragon Ball is because of this game, but it's because this game is so damn good. And I'm having so much fun playing it. If I can get it in, I do want to do one set before Super Baby comes out, and that is going to include all the DLC characters I have yet to really play with, like Janemba, Cooler, Kefla, Master Roshi, all the characters that I haven't played with in the game yet that haven't been on my YouTube channel. So I want to get that session done first before doing Super Baby. Although I might include Super Baby in that session and just make it all DLC related. Maybe that would be an easier thing to do. So maybe I'll wait till Super Baby comes out and then do that session and include every single DLC character I have yet to play with. With Dragon Ball Xenoverse, it's tough, because I really want to play this game. I really do. But, and here's the but, but this game, my friend Solomon put it, don't play this game for story purposes. I'm like, okay. Because I really want to play it, but at the same time, I'm a Dragon Ball noob. I know nothing of the Dragon Ball lore whatsoever. I didn't even know Dragon Ball was a thing until Dragon Ball FighterZ. Well, no, I tell a lie. I have delved into Dragon Ball games a little bit. I played a demo of one, had no idea what I was doing, no idea who the characters were, nothing at all. I was probably a baby, as Bash would say in that one, but no, I was still pretty young. And I had no idea. I've not watched Dragon Ball in my life. I've wanted to. It's kind of the same with Pokemon. Like, I've only watched ever 3 full seasons of Pokemon, and that would probably be the first 2 seasons, and then XY, with the more shipping for life bitches. But, I'm joking. But, yeah, that's the only 3 Pokemon series I've ever watched. With Dragon Ball, it's less, as in 0. I have watched no Dragon Ball thing whatsoever. So, If Dragon Ball Xenoverse is very story centric, that you can't play to do story, if you have no knowledge of the story, you are going to be literally at a loss as you play the game. I think that might be quite enjoyable and very cringeworthy for a lot of people to watch, because you'd be like, Ranger Sullivan, I can totally see it. I can totally see myself playing this game, doing a playthrough, and Ranger Sullivan just face palming at every mistake and everything I miss or anything. I could just totally see it. I think it'd be a bunch of laughs. Ranger Sullivan and all Dragon Ball experts just face palming into their faces, being like, "What the hell is he doing? He's such a noob." I can just totally imagine that. But I want to play it so bad, dude. Especially after really enjoying Dragon Ball FighterZ. That's just what it is. Now I really want to get into the Dragon Ball lore somehow. I can't watch it here in the UK. There's no service that has Dragon Ball anywhere. You know, I've looked. I've looked everywhere to watch Dragon Ball, and I can't. There's nowhere that runs it. So, that's unfortunate. But, that sucks. Alright, so moving on to PES 2020 and PES 2021. Now, with PES 2020, Coach Pop era is officially done and now over. That story is completed because of something I actually found in PES 2021. But I want to start a new virtual football commentary story idea. But here's the thing. As much as PES 2020 was a nice breath of fresh air, the game still had problems. Like, where do I start? Well, I'll try to keep this short. But PES 2020, and even 2021, because that's what basically 2021 is. It's a season update. It's exactly what it says on the tin. But it still has the same glaring gameplay problems that I had with PES 2020, which really make the game unenjoyable at times for me. Much to the point that when I finished PES 2020, I was like, maybe I should go back to FIFA. But to be honest, guys, is PES better than FIFA? Not really. Is FIFA better than PES? Not really. They both are very flawed in the gameplay department. FIFA is just the same thing over and over and over, to the point where I can beat the CPU rather easily. I'm not a problem with it because I've played it for so long. PES 2020 just had its own exclusive issues. Defense is fucking non-existent. There is no such thing as defense defense in PES. You don't play defense at all. Defense is fucking... It's so weak in PES. It's such a weak aspect in PES. You don't play the game to play defense. You don't, because it doesn't exist. It is garbage. And it's really because of the main problem I had was the AI having this hold up that was just so overpowered, and you just could not get the ball. You cannot play the ball on defense. You can't get the ball off the CPU. They play so good in attack because attack is so powerful in PES. It really is. And it's just like, and there's the one attack thing that's overpowered. Like I said, attacking is so overpowered in PES. Like the hold up play, defense is just so weak. And when you have the ball playing offense or attack, the shooting is garbage to me. The shooting is absolutely shit. You cannot control your shot in any which way. You just press square, and no matter how much you try and divert the ball away from the keeper, the player will shoot the ball straight at the fucking keeper and save it every single time. Yes, I got goals, but it was mostly by just going in and then turning to the left slightly and then putting the ball past the keeper that way. Yes, that's a real thing in football, and that's probably how the majority of goals are scored, but I never scored any Wordleys in PES. You can't do it. It's impossible. You can't score any Wordleys in PES. In FIFA, I'm scoring free kicks and amazing shots from outside the box. I remember one time in FIFA 18 was it, where I scored a Wordley with myself from way outside the box against Watford. I remember it. I scored none of those types of goals in PES because it's not doable. It's not doable at all. So I don't know. Do I go back to FIFA? Do I take a year off from it completely? And just wait for PES 2022? Because I still want to play PES. I still want to play PES over FIFA in the department that, I've just got so tired of FIFA's gameplay. I'm not... PES and FIFA are bad for different, or poor for different reasons. No one is better than the other. They're both flawed. They're both flawed in the gameplay department. FIFA's too easy to the point where I'm winning all the time and I just got bored. And PES just... everything you do is just so underpowering. You play defense, you can't do it, and you can't play attack because you can't do anything. It's just it's so weird. And the AI can just be so overpowered at times. It really can. Even on regular difficulty, the AI can be so overpowered and you don't get the ball. I struggled so many times this season, or the past season, to just get the ball in PES, because playing defense is shit. It's the worst aspect of PES, and attacking is no better. At least attacking is actually... don't get me wrong, FIFA's defense is shit as well. Defense is the shittest aspect of the latest football video game. Which is so odd. But at least when you attack in FIFA, you can attack well. In PES, you can't. I have to score very close to the goal or going around the keeper. I can't score the worldly. And the free kicks... oh, don't get me started on the fouls and free kicks, guys. Jesus Christ. The AI are so overpowered on free kicks. They will score 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, you have a free kick next to the box, and the AI just immediately goes and scores it, and you've got no chance. Absolutely no chance. And the movement is just, and it's just, it doesn't, it's no better than FIFA. It's really not. It only has its own issues. FIFA's bland and boring for the last 20 years. PES has weak defense, or weak attack for you, but the enemy, the AI can attack and defend whenever they want. And the fouls, and it's there was twice, I think there was so many times in last year's story where I got the ball cleanly, and because there was an animation of contact, it was actually a foul and a free kick to the other team. And I'm like, I got the ball, man. There's nothing in that foul. He tripped, for God's sake. And I come later to find that during the review of the PES footage from the Champions League final, that the player went down. He actually dived and fooled the referee. Fred never touched him with the slide tackle that he made. He dived and he got the penalty. I mean, luckily David De Gea saved it, but still. And there was a couple of times where I actually saved the penalty and it still went in the back of the net for the AI. There are times in PES, probably when there's times in FIFA as well, that you cannot outplay or outsmart the AI. PES's AI is probably a little bit worse in the fact that you can't force them into a mistake. They will not make a mistake. It's not realistic. And I'm the first to not really bash a game for not being realistic, but oh my god, it was so bad. So I'll probably go back to FIFA just for a side of comfort and just to get through this year. And I'll come back to PES in 2022 then when they've got the new engine. That's probably what I'm leaning towards doing, because I just didn't enjoy the gameplay last year. I enjoyed the whole fact that I had the kits and the stuff like that, and it was a breath of fresh air to play something different. But in the gameplay, it just has so many frustrating aspects, just like FIFA does. FIFA's not any better. It still has its own issues in the gameplay department, like the ball fusing through someone's hand and all that stuff. Football is just such a grind to play. Neither of these companies can get a football game right. And it's just this is why I play F1. This is exactly why I play other sports, because the football games have either got bland and boring in FIFA's case, or have their own issues, like PES does. I'm really hoping with PES 2022 that Konami take advantage of the new engine, because if it feels no different of the new engine, I'm done. I'm just going to have to go back to FIFA. And yes, I complained about FIFA being dull and boring, and I got fed up of it. But Perez didn't really do anything better to make me less fed up with it. I got fed up of different issues in Perez. It's the long and short of it. Sorry for that rant. I didn't mean to rant, but I don't know, man. I don't know where I'm at with football at the moment. I may just go back to FIFA, but I might have to wait for reasons that I'll explain later on. So let's move on very quickly, because I probably spent 20 minutes ranting about that. The Evil Within is still on my to-do list. I explained this last year, that playing the PS4 version, I didn't really like the letterbox screen. Apparently that is addressed in the PC version. So, The Evil Within, when I eventually get around to playing it, will be on the PC version. Okay, so, with F1 2010, we come back to my current storyline of the Formula 1 rewriting of Formula 1 history series. We're going to go into the playlist on my YouTube channel, and we're going to highlight this, because I've come through, I've been giving it some thought this year as I've been doing it, and I've come to a few changes that I want to make. The Phase 1 is still going to be the Michael Schumacher comeback years in 2006 and 2010 through 2012. I've changed 2013 and 2014 to be decided, because I still want to do the series with Nico Hülkenberg, or at least that part of the story with Nico Hülkenberg. And basically the F1 rewriting of history series is basically changing history in Formula 1 from 2006 to present day. And basically where we're at the moment is we've completed the 2006 season and have gone into the 2010 season. And the 2006 season's biggest change was Giancarlo Fisichella becoming the 2006 World Champion. We carried that and the real life results from 2007 to 2009 into the 2010 game, and that's where we've continued with the storyline ever since. We last finished around 6th in the Malaysian Grand Prix. Nico Rosberg scored a podium, and Lewis Hamilton won his first race since towards the end of 2009. We're going to make a change to the storyline here. This won't take effect till 2013 and 14, so this could still change by the time we reach the end of 2012. At the end of 2012, Michael Schumacher will still retire, and we will move on to a new phase of the story. I want to do it with Nico Hülkenberg, for Hülkenberg the Underrated, but there's something I want to do with Nico Hülkenberg in particular, but I don't know how to go about it or do it. So when we get to this point, I'm going to find out what I could do. If I really can't do it, I'll change drivers and do someone else. But there's something I want to do in particular with Nico Hülkenberg, and I might tell you more about that maybe at the end of 2012 or in the pre-season of 2013. I may do it at that point. No changes to after 2014. We're still going to switch to Max Verstappen for the Max Legion Rising playthrough side of the story from 2015 to 2017. We're still going to do Forza Char after that with Charles Leclerc, Alfa Romeo at 2018 and Ferrari in 2019. But then, here's the big change, down here. Now, as you guys know, last year, when F1 2020 came out, I had the idea of doing a My Team playthrough with Keep Fighting Racing, which was basically going to be my creative team with the Keep Fighting Foundation car livery and race overalls, everything to reflect the Keep Fighting Foundation set up by the family of Michael Schumacher back in 2016. Now, it's been around for 4 years already, and the story was going to be that Michael Schumacher was going to return. We were going to basically take out the fact that Michael Schumacher had suffered severe injuries 7 years ago in a skiing accident. I was going to take that out and basically say he's come back for 2020 with his own race team, and Mick Schumacher, his son, would be his teammate. Now, I got to about round 4 of that season, and then I was going to actually restart it initially because I had a thought. Maybe it would make sense story-wise to give Michael Schumacher Mercedes engines, because Mercedes is really what gave Michael his big break back in 1990 and 1991, and he was kind of the spearhead of the Mercedes comeback project in 2010 through 2012, before Lewis Hamilton was signed in 2013 to make it the successful powerhouse it is today. Michael Schumacher was kind of the stepping stones for that. He was kind of the development driver, whereas I firmly believe Michael was in this role where he wasn't really expected to win and get podiums, but his knowledge and his work ethic were big reasons for Mercedes going forward. So he was kind of the development driver in a way. I really believe that was his role at that point. You know, Nico Rosberg was the man who was probably going to get the benefit of the wins and the poles and everything, and that's pretty much how it happened. You know, that is really how it happened in real life. So we're going to change that in 2010 through 12 in that part of the story. What I'm hoping to do is, now that Mick Schumacher has actually been confirmed as a Haas driver for 2021, what I'm hoping to do is, instead of the third generation Schumacher, which it was going to be, I'm going to call it Keep Fighting Dynasty. And what I'm hoping to do is, I'm going to start it in 2019 like I originally planned. 2019, we're going to run alongside Forza Charles. We're going to do Charles in Formula 1 with the clerk at Ferrari for his first season. And we're also going to do the F2 season in 2019 alongside that, featuring and being Mick Schumacher. Now, obviously, I'll probably have to set myself the goal of winning the title in 2019 to actually make 2020's kind of version of events pretty much stack. If not, if I don't win it, then it doesn't matter. We can just use the 2019 version I already recorded, which wasn't part of the storyline, but because it was Mick Schumacher's, or the Schumacher name's return to the game, that's why I did that year. So the plan is to do the year 2020 in the My Team mode with Michael and Mick Schumacher. Use the Michael Schumacher name, the audio name, and the Schumacher Deluxe Edition content with the avatar and the race outfit and all that stuff that was included in the Michael Schumacher edition of F1 2020. Go into the My Team and do that first year with Michael and Mick Schumacher in the Keep Fighting Racing team, and then through 2021 go back to normal service resumed, going into the 2021 game with Mick Schumacher in the championships mode, and do it that way. That's kind of the rough idea I want to do. I would actually like to do that because it features Michael Schumacher coming back for a third time. That's kind of what I want to do, but would I have to feature his injury in the storyline? I don't know. Because, I mean, obviously, it's an idea, you know. I don't think it's set in stone yet. I might change it because obviously Michael, if he was still able, if he hadn't had his ski accident, for example, he probably wouldn't have come back as a driver because, you know, he was 51 years old at the time, or 50 years old at the time. I personally think Michael could have done it, even at his age, because he was so supremely fit. Especially back in his prime, and he was probably still insanely fit now, and I think it really has contributed to why he's still kind of with us today. I think his fitness has been a big part of that, and his fighting spirit is why he's kind of with us today. And we obviously don't really know what's going on with him in terms of his injuries and his recovery and what's going on. Keep fighting Michael as always. But yeah, that's kind of the idea. I just don't know whether... I don't know what I should do with that. But that's kind of... I would really like to do that. I would really like Mick to have a year alongside his famous father in that team and do that. But obviously we'd be going back to normal service in 2021. It'd be the Keep Fighting never existed. They only lasted the 1 year. You know, many new teams, if they ever come into Formula 1, it's probably a multi-year project and not just a 1 year to you know, in this case, probably nurture his son's career and probably have one more stab at his own, maybe. That's kind of the story I'd like to run with. But most when new teams enter Formula One, they don't enter with the thing of doing 1 year. When they want to come into Formula One, they want it to be a multi-year project. I mean, look at Aston Martin. You know, they probably want to be here for years on end. Haas have been here since 2016. They didn't come in to do 1 year and then leave. So, but of course, this is a rewriting history series. This is a make up storyline. This is a storyline I am curating in an alternate universe of Formula One in a way. So maybe that could be a thing. Maybe we could ignore that and just do it anyway, because that's the whole point of the story in the first place. But yeah, that's kind of the rough idea. But for 2013 and 2014, which will be on the F1 2015 game in the 2014 season, I'm undecided. I do want to do it with Nico Hulkenberg, but I also want to do something involving Nico Hulkenberg. I actually want to do it a different way to what really happened in 2013. Alright, so that's the plan for the Formula 1 games there. No change to Indigo Prophecy. I've already played the game, but there's achievements for it, so I might stream that to get the achievements. Injustice Gods Among Us I've had, and I recently forgot that I actually own the game. It was actually free to download, and I was like, hang on a minute, I think I've already got the game, so now I have Injustice 1 for free. No change to Jurassic Park the game, that was already covered in Project PC 2 years ago, so we're done with that. No change to Jurassic World Evolution. I will probably jump into this again, because again, I like the idea of Dinosaur Tycoon. Killer Instinct I've already mentioned before. Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, no real changes there. I would like to feature this in some way. I'm really excited for, is it Run for Blood? Or Something for Blood? Something like that. It's like a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that game, to be fair. Life is Strange and Life is Strange Before the Storm we covered in Project PC. Life is Strange 2 we covered on this channel last year. And it's pretty much as I expected. It's a good game on its own, but pale in comparison to Life is Strange 1, which I said at the time in the update last year, that is absolutely fine. It didn't have to match up with Life is Strange 1, and it's still on its own as a pretty decent game, to be fair. There were some aspects I didn't like about it, but overall it was pale in comparison to the first game, but it's okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't horrendous. There were some times where I was kind of bored with all the slow moving stuff that was going on, but you know, it's its own. Life is Strange 2 can stand on its own, I think. It really can stand on its own, and it did. In a lot of ways it did. And the whole Arcadia Bay references were insane, and seeing the Price Field photo after destroying Arcadia Bay filled my heart with such joy. My only wish it had been, why is it two people that deserve all the happiness in the world, and the only way they can do it is destroying a bay? That's not fair. Anyway, I'm going to move on before I go on about that. But yeah, it filled my heart with such joy, but I just wish it had been a better way to do it. You know, because Max and Chloe deserve the world as well as each other, and the only way they could do that is sacrificing their town. And in some sense, that's bullshit. But I've gone over that plenty of times. So moving on swiftly. Mortal Kombat 11. I've been meaning to play this forever. I think if I played this now, I would suck. I would suck ass at it. I think it'd be quite fun to just have a set of just losses. I think that would be pretty cool. I think I will jump into this game and probably do a session at some point just to see how bad I actually am at it. I think that would be hilarious. I think that would just make for a very fail-task session, which would be fun. I guess. I'm facing the inevitable on that one. Mortal Kombat Complete Collection, aka Mortal Kombat 9. That story is now done. And now I have all the trilogy on the YouTube channel as of today. So that's pretty cool. MotoGP 20 is a series I started, and I have canned it. I have stopped it simply because I got caught up in other stuff, especially with Warzone in November, having the Season 6 Battle Pass. Today we reached 2021, and the whole storyline really kind of got out of the window when Rossi was actually announced to be returning to MotoGP for 2021 with Petronas Yamaha and not the Works Yamaha, obviously. Kotaro is going the other way, with Rossi going to the Yamaha Petronas. So the whole storyline with that went out of the window, unfortunately. I enjoyed what I played. I really enjoyed what I played. But the benefit of canning this and canning the original run of the Keep Fighting Racing playthrough is that it actually gives me more time to focus on the F1 history, rewriting history storyline. So now that opens up for me to do more of this and actually start to power through it a little bit, because I'm way behind. I really should have finished that maybe 2 or 3 years ago, or at least got to present day by now. NBA 2K20 I'll probably mention a little bit later, about NBA in particular. PC Building Simulator I mentioned last year. Persona 4 Golden was actually a Christmas present by Tommy Games, and it's one of the best things she's ever bought me, because Persona is a series I would just absolutely give an arm and a leg to get into at this point. I've wanted to play Persona 5 forever. You know, I don't know the story, but I've always watched people playing it, and I just look at it and I go, I want to play this sucker. I want to play Persona. I want to get into the Persona series because I just love the art style. I love how story-centric it is. I just love looking at it and then seeing it and then being like, I want to play it. Thing is, Persona's never been on PC until Persona 4 Golden, but that obviously gives me hope for Persona 5 one day, maybe. If not, though, I'll mention that later. So Resident Evil 1, the remake, I've done the Jill playthrough. I will do the Chris playthrough someday. Resident Evil 0, I think I've already covered that on this channel already. That's already been kind of done. It's just sitting there to fulfill the collection. Resident Evil 2, the 2019 remake. I want to do a hardcore run with Claire in this game. Obviously, Claire Redfield fanboy. It makes sense. I was actually most of the time after my initial playthrough of the game was spent trying to see if I could do a hardcore run of this game. I got quite far in one run. I got to the sewer. I got to the sewer boss fight with Birkin in Claire A in that practice run. Now, I haven't played Resident Evil 2 since then. It's been a while. But considering I played Resident Evil 3 on the PC, I would assume the controls are pretty much the same. So, one day, I will do it. I will do a run with Claire Redfield. And what I might do is I might actually... You know at the end of the playthrough, when you're on the train, and you're going away, and it stops and the credits roll? One thing I might do is combine that with the ending of Scenario B with Claire and see that ending with Claire as I played it. And maybe do that one on normal, maybe. Maybe not hardcore, because B scenario is really tough. But what I might do is play that playthrough and include the Claire side of the ending through that and do it that way. That might be something pretty cool to do. Just to see Claire's side of the ending, because I haven't seen that yet. I saw Leon taking William on instead of Claire. I haven't seen Claire do it. I don't think it's going to be that much different, obviously. But, yeah, that's something I could do. I could combine the two there. That would be pretty cool. And then have the complete saga of Claire in this game. Obviously, I'm doing it for my girl Claire, because Claire Redfield fanboy, as I said. But yeah, that's the plan. To do a hardcore run with one of my favourite Resident Evil characters of all time. It's written in the stars, as it were. I may also do a hardcore run of Resident Evil 3 because of Jill and my boy Carlos here. I've always loved Jill since pretty much day one, and Carlos by Jeff Snee is just the best thing ever. So that gives me an incentive to do Resident Evil 3 as a hardcore run as well. And I don't think hardcore is really that hard in Resident Evil 3, because in Resident Evil 3 hardcore is a bit easier compared to Resident Evil 2, because in Resident Evil 2 you get ink ribbons. In hardcore in Resident Evil 3 you don't. I found that with my initial playthrough. So, and I can also do Resident Evil 3 hardcore run in the Stars outfit, which Jill looks like an absolute babe. So yeah, there's the yeah, that's definitely coming as well. Resident Evil 4, we have covered the main campaign. I will still plan to do the Ada side of Separate Ways, and also maybe the Mercenaries in Resident Evil 4, because I think it does have one. So we'll cover all the bases there. Resident Evil 5 is mostly to complete my collection, but also maybe a PC playthrough. Maybe. And that really depends on what Time Lady wants to do. I'm leaving it up to her. I've said, if you want to do a rerun of Resident Evil 5's playthrough on the PC version, we're more than welcome to do it. If not, it's completely up to you. So you might see that, you might not. It really depends on whether she wants to do it or not. Resident Evil 6 we'll have to do regardless, because we haven't done that yet. Resident Evil 7, I've still got to do the Chris side that comes after the ending of the game. Get ending 1. Oh, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking get ending 2. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that fucking shit. I don't care about ending 2. Fucking injecting Zoe over Ethan's wife. I mean, please. Just no. This is fucking stupid. I'm still salty about that. But anyway. Yes, I will be returning for Resident Evil 7, and at least doing the Chris version. I might do the prequel tapes as well, but definitely the Chris portion of the game. Resident Evil Resistance, I think, was a great game on paper, but in execution, it's meh. I liked the game, but the game is plagued with connection issues, and I got turned off very quickly from that. It's a free game, so I'm not going to bitch and complain, but yeah, it's just unfortunate that, you know, a lot of the budget went to Resident Evil 3, and where it looks nice, I don't think it had the polish that Resident Evil 2 and 3 did. I think it just suffered from not the same care and polish that the mainstream games had. Pretty unfortunate, to be fair. Resident Evil Revelations I've already covered on the channel, on the PC version, so there's real no reason to do that again, even though I probably could do it if I wanted to, but I don't think there's any need. When I did the initial playthrough, I did it on the PC anyway, so I don't think there's any need to do that one again, even with my new time limits. Resident Evil Revelations 2, I still don't like the game that much, so no, and that's done anyway, so I don't have to worry about it. Rise of the Tomb Raider, I'll talk about Tomb Raider in a minute. Ruby Green Kips was actually a birthday present gifted to me by Time Lady Games, and I absolutely loved it. Short and not really as expansive as a whole Ruby season per se, but it was really fun when we got towards the end of the game and co-op partners decided to jump in and play, and unfortunately I finished the game a level later, and that really made me sad. Oh boy, Mega Drive Collection Classics. This could be interesting because it's Sonic's 30th anniversary in 2021. So I think that is the perfect opportunity to do a Sonic Marathon 3 with all the Sonic games I own, giving them direct capture versions of Sonic 1 through CD, Sonic Adventure 1, and Sonic Adventure 2. Because I never did direct capture versions of those playthroughs, and that was the same go for Sonic CD and Sonic Generations. And maybe Sonic Lost World, but maybe not. Sonic Mania I've already done, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, Sonic 1 through 4, Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic Adventure 2, possibly Sonic Lost World, and definitely Sonic Generations. that's Sonic Marathon 3 with direct capture runs of these games. It's the perfect time to do it with Sonic's 30th anniversary coming up this year. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, again, I will talk about that in a bit. Skullgirls, same situation as last year. Smite, same situation as last year. I've pretty much fallen off this game at this point, even though you can buy the Ruby outfits, but I'm not grinding and I'm not buying the Ruby outfits for a game I'm better gonna play. Same situation for Sonic All-Stars Racing. Where are we now? Splitgate, I never jumped back into this, unfortunately. Street Fighter 5 and Tekken 7. I'm leading more. I will get those sessions done. I need to get them done quick. I don't think Tekken 7 is going to die yet, because Season 4 launched a couple of months ago, so I think people might be still playing it. And Street Fighter 4 is still getting... Street Fighter 5 is still getting updates going into 2021. So 2021 will be the year I finally give these two games the full sets I have been meaning to do since last year, pretty much. Tell Me Why from Donut Entertainment. I streamed and recorded the first episode, and I have not gone back to it since, for some reason. I can't explain why I haven't done that, to be honest with you. I really should have, and I definitely will do. Tom Raider Games is playing Tomb Raider. That's pretty sweet, actually. Now, with Tomb Raider, this is where we're going to start talking a little bit. Now, Tomb Raider is one of those games I'm going to redo. Now, I know it's going to be my third time playing it on YouTube, but hear me out. When I did my initial run of the PC version back in 2017, I believe that's when I actually last did it, was when I last played it, was when I did that playthrough and finished it. The last, say, 10, 15 or so videos were actually botched due to having no game sound coming from my Elgato capture card, because I was using it at the time. I had no idea that had happened, because I was working on a single monitor at the time. I only had a single monitor. I don't have the dual monitor setup I have now. So, I will be redoing this again, and then we will be going into Shadow and Rise of the Tomb Raider as this, it'll be Rise and Shadow, won't it? Because that's in timeline order. So, it's another one in, like, timeline order, for the reboot trilogy. So, yes, that will be redone again. Hopefully with all game sound included this time. Junior Anniversary, Tomb Raider Legend, Tomb Raider Underworld, the trilogy that was really widely praised by critics. It's 3 series I want to jump into, especially doing a Tomb Raider Anniversary playthrough. Might even go into Tomb Raider 1, because I believe the Tomb Raider classics are on here. So I might even go into Tomb Raider 1 and try to beat it, because I never did. I never actually beat it myself. And I said that last year, I think. So that's kind of the idea there. And we'll just go through my wish list again. I think it's pretty much the same as last year, minus a couple that I've bought over the last year, of course. Team Sonic Racing and Team Sonic Forces. That's really just to complete my collection. Maybe if I do Team Sonic Racing, maybe if I get that, maybe I'll include that in Sonic Marathon 3. I've already done Sonic Forces on the PlayStation, so I don't really have to do that again. The Witcher trilogy is definitely something I want to get into, because CD Projekt Red are a renowned game studio. Bit weird how Cyberpunk was so negative and so buggy to the point where everyone pulled Cyberpunk from their stores. Odd, because CD Projekt Red usually are renowned game developers, but given the situation last year, all the situations last year, I guess it's understandable when you think about it. Hello Blade is a game I want to play. Xenoverse 2, well, I have Xenoverse 1, so it makes sense that I get Xenoverse 2. Dragon Ball Kakarot is pretty much the same thing as Xenoverse. I actually asked Sullivan the other day, can I play Dragon Ball Kakarot and get some leads on the story? Sullivan was like, no. And I was like, damn it! God damn it, I want to play these games, and I don't want to go in completely blind and look like an idiot. I'm probably going to look like an idiot no matter how, so I'm probably just going to have to bite the bullet and play them. Soul Calibur 6, I'd love to play it, but the game is 2 years old, 3 years this year, so I don't know if the player base even exists anymore. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is something I wanted to play simply because it's Arxis, but apparently, according to reports from Vash and Buddies, the netcode is garbage. So, that put me off that. Doom Eternal is a sequel to Doom 2016, but I'm not going to buy that until I get Doom 2016. Prototype and Prototype 2. Prototype 1 I absolutely loved. Prototype 2 I never beat. So these two are definitely options. Murder Soul Suspect was actually one of those really underrated games that didn't get enough attention that it deserved. I will do a playthrough of this. Tom Lady actually beat it. Saints Row 2, 3, and 4, that would be for collection reasons, and Tom Lady Games wants to take me through these, so why not? I might stream these. Classic Catherine, still waiting to do something on that. And I will do something on that. Don't know what it'll be though. Probably a playthrough. I mean, I did really like the game from what I saw from Dr. Phil playing it when he first picked up the game years ago. Evil Within 2, sequel to the Evil Within. Vegas and Vegas 2. I will take Tom Lady through these, and they will be called playthroughs someday. DuckTales Remastered was actually a really good game, so I might pick that up one day. Bunch of Final Fantasy games, still here, still waiting to pick those up. I guess I know everything is in a sale right now, but I can't buy them all. Tennis 2, maybe, but I'm not, again, like cricket, I'm a very casual tennis fan. I only know Tim Henman and Andy Murray, and that's it. That's all I know. Same with NASCAR as well, I only know certain drivers. Planet Zoo, I've actually been told not to really bother with, so I might not. Friday the 13th, I'm assuming because it's the PC. Like I said, I think the PC versions of games have longer player base longevity. So if I'm going to jump into a game like Friday the 13th, the PC version would probably be the best thing to do. Kind of hoping that's the case with BlazBlue as well. Monster Hunter World, I think there's a new Monster Hunter coming out, so we might make a beeline towards that. Alright, the last thing I want to talk about before we go into the next launcher, which will be Epic Games, is EA Play. Now you may have noticed that in this whole taskbar there isn't a EA desktop. That is because pretty much today, before I started recording this video, I did a bit of research, and the majority of games on EA Play, thanks to a new deal between EA and Steam, the majority of EA games are back on Steam. Mass Effect, Dead Space, Burnout Paradise, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront the original, Star Wars Battlefront the original, Star Wars Battlefront 2's original, Star Wars Battlefront Commando was already on there. Is The Force Unleashed on here? I will check that. I think Star Wars The Force Unleashed might actually. Well, there's Lego Star Wars. Yes, Force Unleashed. I don't know if that's an EA membership. Let me have a look. Apparently I already own the game. Apparently, oh, I already bought it before. I'll have to find out where that is so I don't have to pay for it. Because that's actually one game I want. But basically, yeah. Most of the EA games, so Star Wars Battlefront, the new Battlefronts, the old Battlefronts, Burnout Paradise, Command and Conquer, as you can see. Most of the games I would play through EA Access on the EA desktop launcher are on Steam. And I was thinking, do I really need the EA launcher? And I came to the conclusion that I may not need it. Because Dead Space, if I type it in, yep. So Dead Space Trilogy is here. And they're all included in the EA Play subscription. Now, I already pay that on Origin. I already have an EA subscription. I actually cancelled it today because I'm gonna get it on Steam for a few reasons. Number one, say with Dead Space, full controller support. Now, I'm assuming it will probably have full controller support on Origin anyway. But there's also, I don't think there's any achievements on this one. Some games EA wise have achievements, some don't. I think Dead Space is one of them. Basically, I've come to this conclusion. I think the EA desktop launcher is pretty much obsolete at this point because the majority of games are going to be on EA Play on Steam or on console. Now, for some reason with EA Play, I don't understand why, EA Play it doesn't allow you to carry EA Play from Origin into Steam or Steam into PS4. Now, I kind of understand it to a degree, different platforms and everything. But if it's all the kind of same service, then why? That's my question. But then again, say EA Play on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, or Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, I'll talk about that later, have different games to the ones on PC. Or, for another example, games on Origin aren't on Steam. So, if you buy the Origin version of EA Play, you can get FIFA 15 through 21. On the Steam version, you can get 21. But I'm thinking, do I really need EA desktop launcher? The answer to the question is no. I don't need it. So what I've decided to do is cancel the one on the EA desktop and get the Steam one instead. Because I've got Dead Space, as you can see. I've got Dead Space. I've got Mass Effect. Oh, fuck that game. I've got Mass Effect. I can play the entire trilogy, and I can even get like the deluxe edition of that. Where's the first one? There it is. So yeah, the Dead Space and Mass Effect, the two playthroughs I want. I can always play the likes of. You get Battlefield as well, just to prove that. Battlefront 2, there you go. Battlefield 5. I don't know what other Battlefields they've got. I think they've got the majority of them actually. So yeah, basically, I've come to the conclusion that maybe I don't need EA Play desktop at all. I can just get the EA Play through Steam and just play the games that way. So I'll just get a membership on Steam and just play the games that way. Because then you can get like things like Dead Space, and I wouldn't have to pay for the games. I don't have to pay for playing the Dead Space trilogy, or the Mass Effect trilogy. Those are two trilogies I want to play on the PC. But if they're on Steam, then I just get a bunch of extra games I can play, and yeah. I'm not a Steam fanboy by any sense of the imagination, I'm not a Steam fanboy, I'm not an Epic Games fanboy, I'm not a fanboy of any launcher, I just love video games. But it just makes more sense for me to play it on Steam and just have all the membership just there. The only thing I would lose having an EA Play membership on Steam is the Pro version, which I don't need. Because the majority of games end up in the vault anyway. Like FIFA 21 will probably end up in the vault. I think the only game on here that isn't on Steam is Anthem. But Anthem crashed and burned anyway. There you go. Jedi Fallen Order, that's another one I could want. Dragon Age Inquisition is another one I could try out. Battlefront 1, Battlefront 1, Need for Speed, Mass Effect, Titanfall even. Titanfall 2, but not Titanfall 1, but I'm not surprised. Plants vs. Zombies, that's on Origin as well. Mirror's Edge, something I wanted to check out. Sims 4 is on Origin. The majority of games I would play are on Origin. And actually, this gives me a chance to jump into Command & Conquer as well, which is actually hilarious. So yeah, I'm actually going to get an EA Play membership through Steam and just play Dead Space and Mass Effect, for example, that way. And maybe even FIFA 21 for 10 hours. I've got a 10-hour trial of FIFA 21 waiting, and all that stuff will carry over when it eventually gets into the vault. So, yeah, the EA desktop is kind of obsolete, but the difference with the console version is that you get games like NBA Live and NHL, which is annoying considering I mentioned NHL earlier is something I'd like to get into to do broadcast commentary over, but the only way I could do that is through the console version. So maybe I'll do that, but maybe I'll talk about that later. But yeah, the main plan is to get an EA membership through Steam and just play them that way. It makes the EA desktop launcher rather obsolete, to be fair. And like the only thing you're really missing for getting it on Origin is the Pro version, which gives you instant access to FIFA when it comes out, but then a year later it gets mostly added to the vault anyway. You know, Jedi Fallen Order's in the vault now, I think. So if I was to do this, there it is. Yeah, you can include with EA Play, there you go. So yeah, I can play Jedi Fallen Order at that point. So yeah, you don't... I guess the option's nice, but at the end of the day, you don't really need EA Desktop Launcher, really. And I'm not like saying it to save space or anything. It's more, it leaves it less cluttered for me. So yeah, I'll be getting an EA Play membership on there and getting that done, because I just think it's easier to do that. Right, so we should get through the rest of this rather quickly now. So, Epic Games. Telltale's Definitive Edition of The Walking Dead. I completed that last year with Season 4, and it was literally the best thing I'd ever played. Season 4 is... It's just it. You know, it's still... Season 1 is still the one that like stays in your heart forever, but Season 4 was just so damn good. So damn good. The ending was perfect. Absolutely perfect and absolutely unexpected. Valentine endgame filled my heart with joy, and it was just freaking perfect, dude. Rocket League was free, has become free, so I got the Epic Games version because of the developer becoming an Epic Game exclusive company, as it were. Samurai Showdown I had last year, I think. Fortnite, obviously, it's free, so you might as well just have it there in case I want to dive in at one point. Piranha Hunting Grounds was meh. World War Z, I will do this. I will do this actually because Tamale has World War Z, so we actually might sit down and do that maybe at some point this year. I'll ask. Wolf Among Us is a new one, probably from last year because the Wolf Among Us 2 will be an Epic Games exclusive. Now, why did I get Heavy Rain? Oh yeah, because yeah, okay. These are the ones I'm really looking forward to. The Metro trilogy. This is a series I've really wanted to get into. I've had this sitting here for at least a year, I think, and that's definitely coming. Saints Row the Third, I had that on Stream Missed. I might take that off. I might ask Kirsten what her opinion is of it too. And this was before I bought that, so that's why that's sitting there. For the Rockstar launcher, I had the majority of games I've pretty much wanted. Grand Theft Auto 5, LA Noire, Grand Theft Auto 4, Bully Scholarship, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto 3. Yes, they're all kind of predictable. Red Dead Redemption's not on here. There is Red Dead Online, but I think you have to pay for that. I think so. This is pay. This is buy now, so I think you have to pay for that. These will probably be stream exclusive. I'm not sure. I wanted to play through Grand Theft Auto 4. That was really good. But I have to probably play these first to get back into it. Bully was really good. Apparently, Tama has been enjoying that. So, yeah. These might be playthroughs, they might not. I'm going to weigh up my options on that one. And finally, the Ubisoft launcher, which has had a change this year. It's now Ubisoft Connect, I believe. And yes, it's basically Ubisoft games. Prince of Persia Sands of Time is actually getting a remake. Oh, and Mass Effect. I forgot to mention, good thing I remembered that, the remastered collection of Mass Effect is actually coming out. So I will be buying that, and that's how Mass Effect will happen. I'm going to do it on the remastered version. Rainbow Six Siege, obviously. I really should have played more of it. I really should still play more of it. Uno is fun. The player base is still alive on the multiplayer of Uno, by the way. Watch Dogs 1 and 2, I want to give another shot. I want to give Watch Dogs another shot, and I want to check out Watch Dogs 2 and Watch Dogs Legion. I never gave them the shot they deserved. I'm just curious, actually. How is Prince of Persia like Is the remake on here yet? Because I know there was a remake announced and it got massive flack, if I remember. So, oh no. Oh, okay. So it's released on the 18th of March, apparently. Oh, and there's Warrior Within on here. Hey, these are games I already have played before. I've played all these. Ubisoft has a lot of options that I want to play. I'm just curious, is Star Wars Force Unleashed on here? Oops. If my spelling would be better, please. No. Oh, fuck. No, it's not. I don't know why, but I just thought for a second that Star Wars Force Unleashed was on here, but it's not. Unless it is. I don't know what made me think of Star Wars on this thing. I have no idea what made me think. Maybe I had it on the wrong launcher, but no, we're good. Star Wars is fortunately still on Steam, and that's definitely an option because I loved the first game in particular. Let's see. Actually, let's see what's in the store here, because Ubisoft is a company I haven't really kept a lot of tabs on. South Park. Did they do Sleeping Dogs? I don't know why I'm thinking of all these strange games that they probably didn't do. Trials. I remember Trials. Did they do? No, they didn't do Sleeping Dogs, did they? Oh no, we do. No, we do Ghost Recon Smurfs. Why am I thinking of all this weird stuff? My mind is just gone today. Seriously. But, yeah, Smurfs and Rainbow Six, yeah. Is Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 on here, actually? Because it might be better going for... Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it might be better going through these for the Ubisoft launchers. Because I think I heard on one of the games that the servers died. Like, they were shut down. So it might be easier going through these on Ubisoft instead. Maybe. I need to jog my memory when it comes to Ubisoft. Because they're a company I like, but I haven't really kept a lot of tabs on recently. Like with their games. I always forget a certain company that comes up and it's like they show it and it's like, oh, they have a game. And it's like, oh, I remember them now. But yeah, so that's pretty much it in terms of the game launches. I know it was a very long-winded explanation for most of it. But one thing I want to end on before we finally end this video, and I'm sorry it's taken so long, but I thought I'd give you a full-on recap. The last thing we should definitely mention is that, of course, last year was the release of the new consoles, and we decided, myself and Tom Lady, to get the PlayStation 5 at some point. It has proven very difficult, with last year being how it was, and the majority of people actually spending thousands of dollars on multiple PlayStation 5 units to then sell on. So getting a PlayStation 5 has proved rather difficult since it launched. Now, that brings me to the one last change on channel-wise. You may notice that The Last of Us and the 4 Uncharted games, the 5 Uncharted games, they have all been removed from the channel, waiting to be redone, and for The Last of Us, it will finally be the final frickin' time. Yes, I'm doing The Last of Us again, but, here's the twist. I'm already playing the game. I'm already playing the game on the PlayStation 4 version. What I'm going to do is I'm going to complete the game. I'm going to beat it. And then, when it comes to doing the playthrough on the PlayStation 5, and it will be on the PlayStation 5, it'll probably be the first playthrough I do on the PlayStation 5. I'm going to do it in New Game Plus. because I always planned to stream a No Game Plus run of The Last of Us Part 1. I always planned to stream it, and then I stupidly deleted the game file like a complete idiot and lost the opportunity to do that. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the game. I'm playing the game now, and I'm going to have it done. I'm going to keep the save file, and then I'm going to move the save file onto the PlayStation 5 when we eventually get one, and then I'm going to do one final playthrough on The Last of Us Part 1 on New Game Plus. Then, I don't know what I'll do afterwards, but either I will go straight to The Last of Us 2, because even though that game has had some serious flack, for reasons, I have my theories. I feel Joel is dead. I feel it. I feel it in my gut, because there's such an outpour over it right now, and I don't think it's unless Ellie dies at the end. Unless Joel dies at the beginning and Ellie dies at the end. That's my theory. I feel one of them or both of them are gone, and that's what the big uproar is about. That's just a theory. That's something I've actually just thought. I've actually thought this through the outcry for the game. There's been such an outcry that I feel Joel is either dead, Ellie is either dead, or both of them are dead. I feel it. I just, why would there be such an outrage over the game if one or both weren't gone? I imagined that would have been the case had Clementine died in The Walking Dead Season 4. Which didn't happen. We didn't see it. I didn't see an outcry like that, but The Last of Us as Part 2, I've avoided the story, but I've heard the outcry and the frustration over it, and I just feel Joel is dead, or Ellie is dead, or both are dead. Why else would there be such an outrage over it? That's the only thing I can think of. Joel and Ellie were the centerpiece of the first game. They were the anchor of the first game. So I just feel that is the case. I just do. Don't tell me in the comments, please. No spoilers. If anybody sees spoilers, wipe it immediately in some way through the comment section. Or if you're going to post a spoiler, please put spoiler warning first. That's what I would say. But yeah. So yeah, that's the plan for The Last of Us, and also the case with Uncharted as well. Basically, I'm going to marathon Naughty Dog games for the first few games of the PlayStation 5. I'm not going to I might jump into an exclusive, say Spider-Man or something like that, but I think the first games are going to be the 2 Last of Us games and the Uncharted series again. The Uncharted series, I was obviously they are for bringing them into my most recent kind of video trends with 30 minutes and everything. And I just felt like it would make sense. I love Naughty Dog as a company, so to play through their games again and to actually give them the most modern video trends I have to per se. I'm not setting trends, but you know what I mean. The most recent kind of method of video per se. Luckily, my HD60S capture card will work with the PlayStation 4, so I don't have any problems there. I can do that. And one thing I'm going to do is actually use it to record through OBS rather than the software, because the software was actually giving me a lot of problems, and that's why I've moved to Shadowplay over the last year. Sometimes Shadowplay goes out of sync, but I do have something that can help with that. So that's the plan. Hopefully we'll get a PS5 at some point this year, and that's the plan for it. So I'll obviously be getting NBA 2K21 as well. That'll be for casual play. I'm also going to get Devil May Cry 5's Special Edition, and yes, I will be doing the virtual story, because yes, of course I do. Yes, that is definitely coming. most likely will stream the Dante story again, because the actual story, because I love that game so much. I don't need to do the Dante story again anyway. So yeah, we're hoping to get a PS5 at some point this year, and I will do The Last of Us Part 1 as New Game Plus. I'll do The Last of Us Part 2 on it, and I will do the Uncharted games on it, Devil May Cry 5, and then we'll probably... Those are the 6... 1, 2, 3, 4... wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. So yeah, those are the first 8 things you'll see on the PlayStation 5. Obviously not in quick succession because I don't want to burn myself out. But obviously with The Last of Us, I think The Last of Us 2 is actually quite freaking long, actually. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, the plan is to get a PlayStation 5. For those of you asking, we're getting an Xbox Series X, and the answer is no. And that's very simple as to why. Why do we need an Xbox when we have the Xbox launcher? I didn't show that because I don't have anything on it. Because we completed the Halo Marathon last year, and we also did Gears of War 5's campaign before we moved the year before. In fact, we actually did it just before we moved, actually. So I've got nothing on my Xbox launcher anyway. And most, if not all, Xbox exclusives will be on Xbox Game Pass through Xbox Game Pass PC. So we just decided we don't need a console with that in mind. And with the game, we came to the conclusion that with games like Tom Lady was actually wondering where, like, would we be able to still play Crash Bandicoot 4 because she bought that last year. That's on the PS5. The majority of games that we would still play today, like maybe a Call of Duty or a Crash Bandicoot or The Last of Us in my case, Uncharted in my case for playthrough reasons, they were on the PS5. So we get the games we want to play or play through for various reasons, and with something like yes, I know the Xbox One also has Series X also has backwards compatibility, but I already have those games covered. Dead Space, Sonic Generations, Mass Effect. I already have those bases covered on my PC. Yes, I guess my uncle called it in a way when he said we will get a PlayStation 5, but after weighing up the options, looking at the pros and cons and all that kind of stuff, it just makes sense. I think, to summarize, the reason we're getting a PS5 is not to replace our PCs with it. There is no way I'm going back to console now. I'm too into it with PC to go back. But should the worst happen to this PC and we can't get it fixed for some time, at least if we have a PlayStation 5, we have something to fall back on to play for a while we sort the PCs out for whatever reason. So get new parts, wait for repairs, wait for it to get fitted or anything like that. I'm still predominantly going to be PC player, as you've seen from all my launches today in this update. And Timeline is going to be the same. But we need something. We need something to keep playing whilst we wait in case we need to send our PCs out. So that's really the reason. And of course, exclusives like Spider-Man, Miles Morales. For Tom Lady, it's Little Big Planet. For me, it's Spider-Man and Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition and maybe NBA 2K21, even though that's not a PlayStation exclusive. And Devil May Cry 5 isn't a PlayStation exclusive either, but it's those kind of things, I'd rather get the Special Edition of Devil May Cry 5 rather than just pay for Virgil on the PC version. There's just no point. I might as well just wait to get the PS5 and then get the whole entire thing. So, yes, we are getting the console, but we need it. We need it just in case the worst happens to this little thing, or if we need to replace any parts, it'll take a while to sort out. That's what we're getting it for. I am PC from here on out. I said it last year, I've stuck by it, but we still need something to play should the worst happen. So that's the idea. Whew. Right, so that's pretty much it for this update. I'm sorry it took so damn long today. As you probably saw, it was getting rather late on my timer before we moved to this screen. So, that's it. So yeah, plenty of content to look forward to this year. It's just a question of whether I'll get it done or not, knowing me. But that is the rough idea. That's the rough plan. Of course, we will let you know if anything changes or anything we can talk about in the previous matters. We're always active on Discord, so the link will be down in the description to the Team Chaos Discord server. And with that, here's to a new year of gaming stuff, and let's just hope that we don't. Let's just hope, let's just hope for the best at this point, because right now much of the world is unknown of what will happen next. We just had to take every day as it comes, and yeah, as always, guys, stay safe. Hope you guys are staying safe. Hope you guys are all well, and if you're not well, we're rooting for you, and we hope you get better soon. I don't know if we'll do another update, or I'll do another update later this year. It really depends. But if not, I will still have a lot of stuff, as you've just seen, to cover at some point. So even if we don't talk face to face again, like I said, we're on Discord, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, all that stuff. All the social medias is always down in the description of every video we upload. That is the same case for my girlfriend Tom Eddie Games as well. Check out the channels below, the recommended channels. My friend English Avenger, Vash12349 is pretty much the OG guy that I followed pretty much since day one when he started. Trevor Sports, as I said earlier, last year really came to the fore last year, and he's had a real rise in subscribers, and I'm chuffed for him because this stuff's excellent. MERSYT13 is another pal of mine, and obviously my girlfriend Tom Eddie Games has her own channel, which focuses on predominantly on co-op stuff. So we will let you know if we can talk about anything, and anything that changes and we can talk about it, we will let you know in any way we can. Everyone, I hope you have had a good new year as possible. Hope you're all staying safe. For Tom Eddie Games, finally at the end of this video, I'm Seven Chaos, and I'm signing off. Peace out, and as always, stay awesome.